So Aztec government was made up of many levels. Kind of like how this is. We have our administrators, we have other staff working here, and then we have our executive, Mr. Schaefer, our principal. But what were these levels called, and what were their importance? So actually, government was several levels, like I said, at the office. The highest level was the emperor, and he was worshipped more like a god. And the second level of government was a city council, and the city council has been compared to as the Roman Senate. We also had judges and priests, which is like a lower kind of city council. They were more local officials, and the lowest form of ruling was individual family members who led their family and their households. So let's talk about Aztec society. Plural marriage, believe it or not, was something that was allowed. And plural marriage is when a man could have several wives. The kids that he had with his principal wife, the one they favored the most, are the only ones that could inherit anything. Adultery, cheating on your spouse, however, was a serious crime, punishable by death. So, let's talk about the kids. The kids went to school. They were either homeschooled or they went to a public school offered by the city. It's quite modern if you think about it, because, yeah, they have kids that are homeschooled, but you also have, like this, you have this school which is funded by the government and the kids can go to.
The Aztecs were not as advanced technology-wise as the other civilizations. Around the world, they introduced new technology that was very useful in everyday life. Here are some achievements, like an advanced calendar. This calendar was used for agricultural purposes and as well as religious purposes. Pictographs. Pictographs were the number system that was used to record history and land records. Medicine. The Aztec doctors used herbal treatment to relieve or cure certain diseases. The doctors suggested ways to ease urges, broken legs, colors, and etc. School was free mandatory. Schools offered a formal system of education. All schools included instruction in song and dance. Girls learned about religion. They learned how to cut, sew, weave, and how to take care of children. Homes of nobles and wealthy were made of sun-dried brick. If you were very wealthy, your home could be made of stone. Also, all were whitewashed to make them look clean and shiny. A poor person home was the average light home, was 1 story high, 1 main room, and a rectangular hut with an open doorway. The homes had no chimney, no windows, that was usually made of earth. Sometimes stone, the walls either daub, dried mud, brick, wattle, and daub. Boys were expected to be brave warriors, fishermen, farmers, and craftsmen like their fathers. Boys were taught at home until about 15 years old. Boys lived at school to receive their military training, which was taught by experienced warriors.
Oh, hello. Today I'll be talking about the Aztec games. One of the games the Aztecs played was a ball game similar to the Mayas. They played on a court, like sort of like how football players play on a football field. There were some hoops, and they had to keep the ball without touching the ground. They had to dribble on their shoulders, knees, and head. And they couldn't let it touch the ground, and they couldn't use their hands. To get points, you had to make it through a hoop, but that wasn't the only way. There was other objectives they could do to get points. Another game was called Patoli. It was a gambling game. You gambled many things. You could even gamble your own life. The weapons the Aztecs used, one of the weapons the Aztecs used was a weapon similar to a sword. It was called the Makahudi. It was a powerful close combat weapon. There was one-handed and two-handed machetes. The Spanish claimed that the machete could chop off a horse's head in one blow. Clubs. Some clubs were made of wood and some were embedded with stone. One of their clubs was the mace. The mace was made with wood with spikes on the end. Spears and lances. They were very sharp and they could be up to 7 feet long. Today we'll be talking about warriors. Boys became men at age 17. A commoner wanting to go to war would start off in a lower rank, such as a servant. Capture was an initiation into the world of the real Aztec warrior. Capturing prisoners was key for warriors to rise in the ranks. Capturing a few prisoners was a status symbol for a young man, and rewards would follow. Jaguar and Eagles were higher ranks in the army. They wear special uniforms. Higher ranks would get better rewards. The most important reward was land, tax-free.